Cinderella. Imagine losing everything in seconds and not only surviving, but being forced to silence your own light every day, surrounded by people who should protect you, but who feed on your suffering. What if, to escape, you had to erase your own name, swallow tears, and sweep away humiliations just because no one believes you belong? Cinderella is not a fairy tale. It's a manual for those who learn to flourish in the mud, even when every wish seems like a threat. Don't take your eyes off the screen, because now the truth behind the myth will shatter everything you thought you knew about hope, pain, and the right to dream. In the coldest room of the house, the girl clings to memories that have already begun to fade. She was a beloved daughter, protected by a mother who, even when ill, taught her the courage to be gentle. But her mother dies, and with the grief comes a stepmother made of calculation, resentment, and a thirst for domination. The father, unable to break free from his own traumas, turns a blind eye. Dislike is disguised violence, and the girl is transformed into a servant, reduced to Cinderella, a name synonymous with filth and oblivion. Each morning is a silent battle, gathering scraps, cleaning corners, pretending her body doesn't ache. Her stepsisters, who were never hers, exude raw cruelty, tear dresses, and hopes, laugh loudly when she stumbles in the dust. The house, hers alone by inheritance of love, becomes a stage where only the brilliance of others is accepted, never her own. The days drag on in denial. Cinderella learns to hold back words, economize on gestures of kindness, create private escapes, talking to birds, dreaming of gardens, clinging to the fantasy of the impossible. Dreaming there is an act of resistance, and no one notices. The stepmother controls everything, schedules, food, even the size of her size. Cinderella shrinks back, but deep down she never stops believing that another world can exist. Less hostile, more just. The announcement of the ball brings a frenzy of excitement to the house. For the sisters, it's a game of vanity. For Cinderella, it's a reminder of someone who was once cared for, loved, effortlessly beautiful. She has little left, a torn dress, a hidden hope. She calls upon the strength she has left, animals, memories, longing for her mother. The magic here doesn't come from anything external. It's born from the radical desire to be seen as she is. The invitation to the ball is the promise that perhaps there will be a place for her existence. On the big day, the sisters and stepmother triple the humiliations. They tear fabrics, soil what little remains, and forbid any attempt at happiness. But it is in the darkest night that the answer emerges. In an explosion of light and tenderness, something deep inside tells you that you don't need to beg for crumbs from anyone. The fairy's appearance, whether memory or ancestral strength, restores Cinderella's right to shine. The dress shines not because of magic, but because she, deep down, never doubted you. The shoe, a symbol of the only space made to measure for your step, is a gift of the courage not to give up. At the ball, Cinderella is seen, finally recognized, desired, celebrated. But time runs out, and the fear of losing everything returns like a shadow. She runs home, her heart racing, fear mixed with the joy of having belonged for a few minutes to something greater than pain. How many times, crushed by routine or cruelty, have you dreamed of being recognized for who you are? What prevents you from believing that you deserve space, beauty, a new story, even if your life insists otherwise? The search for the owner of the shoe is a race against despair. The stepmother lies, hides, and forces Cinderella to disappear even further. The sisters try to squeeze their feet into shoes that never belonged to them. But there are things that cannot be stolen: courage, authenticity, the strength of someone who has resisted everything. The prince seeks not only beauty, he seeks profit, truth, a complete existence. The shoe only fits someone who has never lost the right to be who they are, even if the whole world denies it. When Cinderella's shoe fits, it's not a miracle. It's the triumph of silent resistance over all attempts at erasure. There are Cinderellas in every family, school, office, People who sweep away expectations, gather silences, and, for seconds of dance, are reborn whole. It speaks of those who survived hostile homes, abusive relationships, crushing jobs, and cities that do not forgive dreams. Each spectator is invited to name, in silence or in the comments, the shoes they try to fill, the dances they fear to dance, the gardens they still wish to see blooming. Have you ever allowed your life to be defined by the marks of pain and invisible labor? When was the last time you believed you deserved your own stage, your own dance, the shoes made just for you? Cinderella was never about magic or princes. It's about the struggle to exist without apologizing, about knowing that there is no definitive humiliation, and that every garden blooms where someone has the courage to dream together. Her journey becomes an invitation to share, comment, subscribe, celebrate the right to be whole even when the whole story tried to turn you to dust, to silence, to oblivion. Whether you're carrying broken pieces or dreaming of dancing, this story is about you. Here, everyone deserves space to dance. Great, I will continue with the ongoing and psychological expansion of the Cinderella story, using sensory examples, contemporary parallels, internal monologues, and reflective microanalyses. The journey will be realistic, symbolic, and striking, without hiding the harshness of everyday life, always maintaining the hooks in each block, until reaching, throughout the responses, the minimum volume of 10,000 words requested. Here's the next segment with further exploration, maintaining the same tone, rhythm, and emotional depth. In Cinderella's house, the clock never runs fast enough to erase the anguish of the minutes. Routine is ground down into tiny gestures, washing the steps of her sisters, scrubbing stains from porcelain plates, lining up other people's shoes, always shinier than her own. Each gesture hurts not only the body but the soul. The pain of being seen and not recognized, of hearing without ever being heard, of existing in transparency, in the background of the picture, nameless and without a color of her own. Every morning, Cinderella rises before everyone else. The birds, more faithful companions than the people of the house, see her weeping softly at the open window. She slowly caresses her skin, searching for new marks, and asks herself, how much of this is strength? How much is just survival? For a moment, she allows herself to dream. She imagines the dish being served before her, her fragrant clothes without blemishes, her mother alive, her father waking her with words of affection. But soon the stepmother's shout cuts the thread of hope. Get up. Today the work will be doubled. The scenario isn't just physical, it's psychological. It symbolizes the school where one is deprived of their voice, the job where one is replaceable, the toxic relationship that drains even hope itself. Cinderella laughs at the nickname and learns to hide tears because there, crying is mockery and all affection is a bargaining chip. Childhood becomes a shadow, the future a threat, the present an arena of petty daily struggles. The sisters, blonde or brunette but always sharp, make comparison their cruelest weapon. Your nail will always break because you weren't born for luxury. At night, the girl occupies herself with her own thoughts like someone planting seeds where nothing grows. Each task is done in silence, stitching dreams and mending fabrics alongside birds that silently watch the effort. She learns that beauty is also made in the dark, in the hardness of calloused hands, in the discreet gleam of eyes accustomed to the shadows, in the invented laughter to avoid going mad. Have you ever put in 100 times more effort than others only to be treated as less? Have you ever felt proud of your own sweat even knowing that no one noticed? Or if they did notice, hoped you would falter the next day? Sundays arrive gray. The smell of freshly baked bread is never for her. Her father has disappeared, whether through death, flight, or cowardice, it doesn't matter. Abandonment has 1,000 names but only one feeling: absence. Cinderella learns that in homes like hers, silence weighs more than any scream. Before the stepmother, the house was full of songs. Now, it echoes with hard footsteps and promises of punishment. When she feels she can't go on, the girl runs away to the garden. He hides among the flowers, pulls up weeds, and there he talks to his deceased mother. He doesn't expect an answer, but finds solace in listening to the earth, the insects, the attentive birds. It is in these moments that he finds traces of hope, a rosebud that survived the winter, a nest built with forgotten scraps of fabric, the movement of the sun that never stops beginning anew. The announcement of the ball seems like a nightmare and a prophecy. She sees herself in a cracked mirror, wears a scrap of cloth as if it were a royal robe, daydreams even knowing that tomorrow will be the same. But that hope, however small, keeps her standing. No violence can erase the memory of being embraced, of receiving a "you deserve everything," of having been desired by life. On the day of the ball, the sisters giggle, and the stepmother promises double the punishment if she tries to leave. Cinderella accepts. Better to leave through the window than to die inside. When the impossible happens, the fairy godmother appears. Cinderella doesn't just ask for a dress, she asks for the right to belong. She asks that the shoe fit her foot, and not the foot of someone who tries to take everything from others. Magic grants the wishes not only of those who ask, but also of those who never gave up on their own identity. In the royal ballroom, everyone shines, but Cinderella is different because she carries with her the contrast of shadow. The prince, who dances already aware of the difference, offers attention beyond the visual. Time passes, and Cinderella, once a subject even to her own pain, discovers the value of the present moment, of presence, of a sincere gaze. With each dance, she feels that she could have been seen all these years if she hadn't been trained to hide. What party did you miss because someone doubted your worth? And if today were your prom, would you have the courage to show up in your best self? Or would you try to walk in someone else's shoes to meet their expectations? The ball takes place under impossible lights, chandeliers reflecting on the polished floor, music touching on hope and fear. Everyone dances, vying for attention, but never noticing the emptiness between their own words. Cinderella feels like a detail, a forgotten accessory in the room until for a moment the prince's gaze offers her neutral ground. There is no judgment, only invitation. The two converse, but there is no script. She speaks with gestures, with glances that know the weight of waiting. He, accustomed to flatterers, is interested in someone who doesn't beg for approval. As they dance, time slows down. Cinderella smells the candle wax, notices the grains of sand beneath her new shoes, and deciphers the hidden intentions of the other suitors. It's not envy, but survival. Everything there exudes threat. One wrong step, and the dream crumbles. Midnight arrives quickly, a heavy sound, a reminder that nothing good can last. She flees not only from the prince, but from the risk of believing she can live like that forever. She runs down the stairs, the air cutting her chest. Her shoe slips unintentionally. She hesitates to go back, but decides that nothing, not even the absence of half the pair, will make her give up the past she has conquered. At home, the return is silent. No one saw. The secret is hers alone. But her sisters notice a new glint in her face. They become suspicious. Their attacks intensify. They empty bottles of emotional poison every morning. Their accusations and laughter double down. The search in the kingdom becomes a collective fable. Armed men, messengers, and maids carry the shoe from door to door, a symbol of something that belongs only to one, but that everyone desires to take. The stepmother, sensing the end of her authority, imprisons Cinderella in the attic, locks the window, and hides the key. It seems the cycle of abuse will never end. But the animals, her only true friends, do not accept the injustice. In packs, they distract guards, seek allies, gnaw through iron bars, and enter alleys to call the prince. With each new attempt to fit the shoe, the ridiculousness is laid bare. No one grows from the pain of others. No one will inherit the place of those who suffered alone. One by one, the sisters are unmasked. The prince, already frustrated by so many attempts, almost gives up, but he hears the call of the improbable. He is led to the attic by feathers, lint, and the screeching of birds. There he finds a girl almost unconscious from exhaustion, but with a gaze that has never lost its meaning. The shoe fits, not by luck or miracle, but because the whole story, the true one, is imprinted on the lines of the feet, in the calluses of resistance, in the trails of silent work. Marriage is not redemption. It's the starting point for everything that once seemed impossible. Cinderella, still marked by years of anonymity, fears the lights, the exposure, the weight of dreaming in public again. The palace is strange, but at least no one forces her to hide anymore. Slowly, she learns to exist again. She chooses what to wear, learns to trust her allies, realizes that happiness is not the absence of pain, but the presence of recognition. The prince, uncertain, always asks, "Do you really want to be here?" And she discovers little by little that wanting is not a sin, that desiring is not forbidden. How many times have you allowed yourself to experience the joy that always seemed reserved for others? What shoes do you still need to put on, of acceptance, affection, belonging, for your story to make sense? The stepmother and stepsisters survive without glamour, now deprived of the echo of a target. New rules are written. The house no longer serves as a stage for humiliation. Old servants are promoted, given names and respect. The kingdom learns slowly that each person who has suffered has the right to rewrite their own destiny. Over time, Cinderella creates new rituals in the palace. She institutes open-door parties where everyone, including the invisible, can celebrate small victories. Fully queen, she becomes a role model for young people who are afraid of their own worth, for adults who never had a childhood, for old people who still dream of being accepted outside the cliché. Every year, she makes a point of visiting the poor neighborhoods, rescuing someone lost, reminding the entire kingdom that no name deserves to be reduced to dust, to be an object of scorn. Outside the court, the myth grows that all you have to do is wait to be saved. But Cinderella knows that nothing is so simple. In the gardens, she tells groups of children sitting on her lap that the only magic capable of changing someone is the strength to continue dreaming, even on the worst days. She teaches that no one needs to wait for a new dress or a royal invitation. Everyone can and should invent their own balls, with whatever they have on hand, even if it seems like little. The children ask, "What if I'm not chosen? What if nobody sees me?" She replies, "Be the first to dance, be the start of the party. Whoever truly shines always draws the right attention." Young teenagers doubt, accuse of naive optimism, but secretly take the message to heart. In the contemporary realm, from school bullying to adult burnout, from female silencing to digital loneliness, Cinderella exists on every corner. She is the underestimated professional, the artist who sleeps in rented rooms, the ignored child at the breakfast table. We are all, at some point, confined to the dust by those who fear our brilliance. We all, at some point, need the courage to put on our own shoes, to create intimate dances, to invent hope where there is only routine. The video goes on to give examples. The woman who starts over after years in an abusive marriage, clearing her name and relearning how to play with her children. The young black man who grows up hearing that he doesn't belong, but decides to occupy the university, and there dances with his head held high, celebrating his ancestry. The elderly man, after being forced into retirement, returns to painting pictures in his small room, creating his own dance of silent colors. The overweight girl who transforms a cruel joke into a channel for empowerment on social media, teaching other Cinderellas not to wait for anyone's approval. What dungeon still binds your body to the dust? Whom would you like to invite to your ball? And, even more importantly, what new name would you give yourself after emerging from the dust? With each scene in the script, the chorus grows louder. Cinderella is not just romance. It's the metabolism of trauma into art. It's the pedagogy of hope and action. It's a call to weave bonds. Birds continue to help not because they fly, but because they announce that no one exists alone. Shoes are custom-made, but also shared in rituals of sisterhood and friendship. Queens, princes, servants, and former sisters learn together that rescuing someone is rescuing oneself. In the epilogue, Cinderella watches the kingdom vibrate with joy on yet another night of celebration, recognizing in the voices the ancient echo of her own pain. She knows that nothing is truly erased, but also that everything can be given new meaning. Before sleeping, she thanks the girl who never gave up on existing, even when the whole world demanded silence. For you, the viewer, if you've ever felt invisible, humiliated, reduced to a borrowed name, this story is about you. May this video be an invitation to dance, to celebrate your flaws, to ask for help on cold nights, and to build, even among remnants and shards, the garden you deserve to inhabit. Sign up, share your story in the comments, tag someone who needs courage to dust themselves off and believe. Be the start of your own dance. And if doubts arise, remember, no one grows alone, and no one dances beautifully without a solid foundation beneath their feet. The night stretches on after the ball like a long breath of hope. Cinderella resumes her habit of waking up early, but now she picks flowers without fear of being scolded. The house, once a prison, has become ancient history, where she only returns to retrieve what life has left behind. Old letters, yellowed photos, a ring from her mother that she had hidden under a loose floorboard. The present, finally, smells of fresh bread. Soft footsteps echo in corridors that no longer intimidate. In the palace, not everything is festivities. Experiences of abuse and sadness don't disappear simply because one receives a new name. The first days as a princess are full of missteps. Cinderella stumbles under the formality of dinners, is frightened by the crowd, and considers running away from the overwhelming attention. The prince notices. He offers silence, respects her time, and understands that not every wound disappears in the sun. The garden next to the castle becomes a refuge, a space for sincere conversation and affection built slowly. Gradually, she inherits caregiving duties. She visits the sick of the kingdom, advises orphans and widows, sits beside the forgotten elderly. Each case she touches bears a resemblance to her own. Mothers who left too soon, discredited children, invisible workers. Now she can protect those who were once forced to hide. She returns royal gifts in the form of listening food and smiles. On days of heavy rain, Cinderella remembers to sit alone with her own shadows. She has nightmares, her stepmother returning, the attic door closing, her sisters mocking her pretense of being happy. She wakes up in a cold sweat, runs to the balcony, breathes slowly. The prince finds her like this night after night. He offers no solution, but shelter. He sits beside her, holds her hand, reminds her that outside it is permitted to cry. She understands finally that being strong is not about not feeling, but about not giving in to the fear of feeling. The entire kingdom rethinks its petty power. Parents who previously valued only outstanding, children begin to notice the silences of their youngest child. Women exchange confidences about harsh husbands. Siblings dance together without competing for affection. The court gradually learns that the greatest luxury is not silver, but kindness. Cinderella, queen by adoption and merit, proposes that the ball be a tradition not only of celebration, but of reparation. For each new child baptized, an invitation for at least 3 orphans. For each party table, a guaranteed meal for whoever cleans the hall. These changes are spreading. Neighboring cities are beginning to imitate the rituals. Houses where envy once reigned now plant rose bushes alongside vegetable gardens. Children grow up hearing that everyone has their own unique brilliance. Teachers transform classrooms into listening spaces. Therapists offer free sessions centered around fairy tales reinterpreted in light of lived experiences. Psychologists remind us the magic of Cinderella is resistance. It is the pedagogy of empathy and change. Hook, 30 How many palaces have you seen change simply because someone, previously unseen, had the courage to rewrite the rules? What would happen if you first planted kindness where only competition once thrived? The script features parallel stories of modern-day Cinderellas, an actress fired from a major production for not fitting the role's mold, who then starts her own channel, goes viral, and inspires girls to share their stories of rejection. A young man rejected by his family for being different finds acceptance in listening groups and creates a support network for other teenagers who have been kicked out of their homes. The seamstress, who for years altered dresses for people who ignored her, one day decides to invest in her atelier. She dresses homeless people, launches a collection in a collaborative fashion show, and appears in the headlines as a story of overcoming adversity. The dance is repeated in public schools and community parties, in shared videos and emotional survival podcasts. Cinderella becomes a symbol of courage, not for having a prince, but for not giving up dancing even on the worst of days. The video gradually draws the viewer closer. It proposes challenges, invites testimonials, and shows that every healing process, however magical it may seem, is a web of small shared routines. The kindergarten is open to visits from those who have never had a home, and with each event, another girl, another boy, another grandmother, another uncle is discovered who, one day, felt swept under the rug by their family or their job. As it ends, Cinderella observes the clear sky after another party. She falls silent, closes her eyes, and gives thanks. It was hard. The journey was long, but now each scar has a name, a color, a story. The prince smiles, dances with her, but true happiness lies in knowing that she no longer needs to ask permission to exist. The final invitation. There's always room for one more at the dance of life. Don't settle for the dust of routine. Put on whatever shoes you have and come be whole with us. On full moon nights, Cinderella sits around the campfire with children from the extended kingdom, recounting parts of her own life so that no one needs to forget their pain as she once did. She speaks of longing, of fear, of how she learned to wash away sorrow along with the basement floor. Each listener recognizes themselves in the details: young people who clean houses, elderly people who have lost children, women left in the shadow of absent husbands. The story spreads, becoming less and less a tale, more and more a survival manual. In schools, teachers hold group discussions about daily challenges: bullying, abandonment, disproportionate expectations. Cinderella visits, listens to questions, avoids easy answers. She teaches that the desire to escape is not always cowardice. Sometimes it's the first step towards putting down roots. She portrays the birds in the story as symbols of small, everyday acts of help. The classmate who offers a snack, the neighbor who lends a book, the employee who says good morning without mockery. Each gesture is part of the true dance, the dance of kindness. The kingdom has adopted a tradition. Every month, a ball for those who have never danced. Orphans, the elderly, strangers, sad people, and invisible people. There are no sashes, no luxurious dresses. Each person brings their worn shoes, their marked story. Servants and princes take care of the hall, cook together, clean together. The new luxury is belonging. The gold is empathy. At these events, no one is alone. Children organize plays about the difficulties they have seen at home. Adults share how they overcame them. The prince helps serve water. Cinderella sews blankets for those who are cold. The palace is no longer a scene of segregation. It is a space for collective healing. The impact of these celebrations is immediate. Movements spring up in neighboring cities. Ball of the Invisibles, Dust Festival, Garden of Worn Shoes. In each place, someone with an old fear decides to show up, even if still trembling. And the magic of the story grows. A teenager creates a YouTube channel to tell stories of overcoming adversity. A divorced mother sets up an online support group for women who have never been seen. An 80-year-old man publishes a memoir about the time he cleaned stairs without gratitude. How many times have you missed your own party for fear of not being recognized? Is it time you realize that the only permission you have to exist and be happy is the one you grant yourself? Cinderella doesn't stop at her own ball. She travels to distant villages, listens to stories, learns about other pains and resistances. In each new place, she notices that the pattern repeats itself. There is always someone hidden, always being called by names that are not their own. She speaks of suffering but emphasizes rebirth. She gives talks, welcomes, embraces. In the peripheral alleys, she returns food from the palace to orphaned children, talks to parents ashamed for never having given their children a voice. The video alternates between current and classic scenes, boys breaking brooms as a symbol of healthy rebellion, girls displaying the name Cinderella on t-shirts as a symbol of pride. The ball spills over into squares, churches, and community centers. Year after year, the kingdom registers fewer cases of abandonment and more stories of new beginnings. The blue shoe becomes a collector's item, bought by those who want to remember that they should never give up on their own size. At the end of each event, Cinderella sets aside a few minutes for silent listening. She knows that not everyone wants to dance in public. Some just need to be seen in silence, with respect and affection. The sensitive prince learns to dance with those who need to slow down, with those who fear the spotlight, with those who haven't learned to spin without getting dizzy. The message persists like a current. You are not dust. You are not leftovers. You deserve to be whole, not through the achievement of others, but through the merit of existing. Cinderella gives thanks to the wind, the birds, time, and the heart that never faltered. The party ends when everyone sleeps together in the hall. There's no creaking of doors, no envy, no more borrowed names. The kingdom celebrates the cycle from dust to hope. As the years pass, the dust of past pain gives way to a harvest of mutual recognition, respect, and celebration of diversity. The entire kingdom discovers that the greatest luxury no longer resides in high ceilings, but in the sparkle in the eyes of those who feel they can finally walk without fear. Cinderella becomes a symbol not only of naive hope, but of hard work, of a struggle that begins in the quietest corners, in basements, in kitchens, in unnoticed routines. The festivities continue, but their tone changes. They don't seek to mask suffering, but rather to honor it. They are rituals of remembrance, of transforming dust into dance, weariness into embraces, loneliness into community. People of all kinds gather, each bringing a small story, a scar, a shoe with marks from the journey. Cinderella makes a point of listening to everyone, noticing the low voices, the unspoken shames, the apologies between family members, the unexpected reconciliations. There is no longer room only for perfect dancers. Missing a step is hailed as the courage to try. And on this multifaceted stage, former villains also seek redemption. Once cruel sisters become gardeners, the stepmother helps widows in need. Everyone learns that rewriting their own role is possible, even for those who previously only knew how to hurt. The kingdom learns that the cycle can be different. Every winter ends in spring. Every cellar can be transformed into a room full of light. On the final night of the cycle, Cinderella walks alone through the garden. The prince sleeps with children who have inherited light, laughter, and creative restlessness from both of them. The stars reflect in puddles on the ground. Birds sleep among branches laden with fruit. She picks up a stone from the path, caresses a newly bloomed rose, and gives thanks to the silence. For the first time since emerging from the dust, she feels whole. Before returning home, she looks into the viewer's lens, be it boy or girl, adult or elder, orphaned of literacy or affection, and says in a firm but sweet voice, "The invitation never ends. As long as there is someone sweeping away the remnants of pain, there will be a dance waiting for courage. As long as there is an oppressed heart, there will be garden hope." She smiles, and it's a smile of triumph, not of resignation. It's the epitome of someone who understands that fairy tales only become real when someone refuses to disappear, even when everything around them demands silence. The video ends like this, leaving the invitation open. For every invisible pain, for every erased name, for everyone who never believed they deserved it, come to the dance, put on what belongs to you, bring your story. Because in the end, Cinderella is about finding space to exist, whole, in whatever way and time is possible. And because life, like any good dance, reinvents itself with every step. If this story touched a forgotten part of your heart, don't stay silent. Subscribe to the channel now. Share this video with those who need to hear that no suffering is forever gone. Write in the comments, when did you sweep your pain under the rug? What shoes do you still want to wear in this world? Here we are, a garden for all stories, and your dance begins when you choose to show up. Turn on notifications, join the upcoming discussion circles, and bring your friends to dance too, because nobody deserves to spend cold nights alone. Let's create a kingdom together where nobody needs to ask permission to shine anymore. Your courage could be the invitation another Cinderella needs to rise from the dust and take her place at life's ball.